Hello, welcome to this very special edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace. For close to 30 years, Count Basic has been on the cutting edge of both R&B, jazz, as well as the acid jazz movement, which started in the late 80s. Now, Peter Legat, the founder of Count Basic, and vocalist Kelly Say made their debut here in New York City this past August at Joe's Pub to a sold out audience performing music from their current CD, Sweet Spot. Now, what's very interesting is that the band has been together for over 25 years, but they made their debut here. And I had a chance to sit down as well as break bread with both of them to talk about the impact of this trip, why it's monumental for them to break the American market after 25 years, and why their music has been so very diverse. As you might know, this band, Count Basic, has been on the cutting edge as well as the end of the smooth jazz as well as the acid jazz movement from the late 1980s as well into the 1990s. But also, I had a chance to talk to Peter to talk about some of his influences and why some of the horns have been a very important staple and signature sound to Count Basic.
Would you like to come and try my style? A taste of something from the wild side. Life without a care, a sweet sensation in the air. You can come and feel your fantasy. Every little thing is yours, it's for free. Music's moving, my body's hot and moving. Oh, oh. I wanna take you on a pleasure ride.
I want to congratulate you guys on your debut here in New York City at Joe's Pub. And Peter, I have to ask you this. You know, you've toured all over the world with Count Basic. What is your impression of New York being here practicing and just the music vibe?
Oh, the vibe is great. Through Kelly, we had a lot of nice musicians here, that session musicians or guys she worked before with. So that was very enjoyable, to bring the band alive with different musicians, and it's different, and it's all good.
And Kelly, what does it feel like performing with Count Basic in your homeland for the very first time?
I'm totally excited because first of all, it's my hometown. That's the first part. Secondly, it's just I think for a long time, it's been a dream of ours to play this music and just to see how it goes over, see if we're received as well as we believe that we be received, because I think that the music is so transcending all kind of age groups and color groups and where we are in the state of the world. I think this kind of release of happy peppy party music is really needed.
You know, the thing about Count Basic, and I've followed you from the inception. I mean, ML in the Sunshine was a very big hit in Detroit. Detroit radio played you religiously for a great decade. And I just want to say that this album, Sweet Spot, it's going back to what Kelly says. It's at a time when we're going through a lot here in America and abroad. This music reflects funk, R&B, jazz, every musical gamut on this. And this essentially will pick you up once you listen to this album.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we had that flavors on literally every album, but this one particularly has great songs on. So we are very proud of this album, especially because we went to Nashville, work with Shannon Sanders. He's a great producer of India-Re Grammy Award-winning guys, and so we had a really good time producing new material. And that was just, for me, it was because Kelly called me and said, "Do we still have a record deal?" I said, "Well, yeah, we have to activate it, And said, because I know these guys down in Nashville, and so you want to see them? So, yeah, of course I want to see them. So we traveled there together 2 times and wrote half of the album down there, 6 songs, and we had a great time. And I think the songs are really great on that record. I have to say that, if I may not be sounding too big-headed.
It's okay to be a little big-headed. I think sometimes we're always a little bit too humble, and I don't want to. I mean, we're super humble people, big on humility. But I think every now and then it's okay to say, you know what, that's damn good. That is good, and it is that. So.
And really, basically a lot of the whole Count Basic sound goes back to a lot of the horns, your guitar, and just your appreciation of American music, period.
Definitely. That's, before I wrote the first song for that band, it was 25 years ago, I said, what do I like? What are my assets? Where's my strengths? And what kind of music do I like? So it's okay, I have studied jazz guitar, so I have that kind of influence. And I always loved danceable music, groovy, funky music. So I thought, let's combine this, So, and at that time in England, we had that wave of acid jazz pouring over the whole continent that later on also reached the US. But basically, if you strip it down, it's funk and soul. You might name it acid jazz in Europe, but even if Incognito or the bands Galliano, all these bands, or Jamiroquai, if you go back to the roots, it's soul and funk, and jazz. And so that's the ingredients also of our music.
Kelly, you and Peter have been together pretty much since the inception of this band. And I have to ask you this, because both of you guys are alumni or alumnus of Incognito. And I want to ask you moving forward and how you guys have kept this together, because there was originally another vocalist before, and you've been the forefront for the last 20 years.
A couple of corrections on that. Peter was not in the band Incognito. He has his own band. Okay. I'll let you explain that part, right? Yeah. He had a separate band, and it was also called Incognito. So, but he didn't play in the same Incognito that I played in with Bluey. So That's the first thing. The second part to that is I missed the question.
The second part is that now that we have that cleared up, you have been the primary, and you've been the lead vocalist for, and the front lady for Count Basic. And I just want to ask you, how has this amalgamation continued to work? Because I mean, your spirit is in spirit of the music that you guys create.
I think the first thing is we have the same love and appreciation for the same style of music. That's the first part. So it's kind of kindred spirits, to a point that, wow, we have the same vision. And as long as we have that, that's a great bonding factor. So once you have those two elements, and then you get together and you just put all these components in one, and you get in any room with a bunch of great songwriters or producers, then you have, essentially what we have now, our sweet spot or whatever. But we're together now 20 years, and I'm hoping it's another 20 years.
Did you ever in a million years think that you guys have come this far? And also reconnecting your roots with American music fans, because this is your first time in New York.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been here on radio promotion tours, but we never played here with a full band, and so I'm very excited. It's just like, I'm very excited, to say the least, so I'm really looking forward to that. Because even when you hit like a regular breakfast place in Nashville, where we went before we went to the studio, everybody listens to that kind of music. In Austria, this is not the case. So to come with that music to this country means a lot to me.
But you know what I gotta say? There are many times I'm shopping. I might be at DSW or something, or I might be in some really cool lounge, and a Count Basic record will come on, and I just feel like just screaming into the room, "That's me! That's me!" I don't, but I get so happy inside because I know that the music is reaching people more than I think that it is. You know what I mean? So for me, maybe I don't hear it on mainstream radio, so I'm thinking, then maybe they're not going to know about us, but that's not true. With internet radio and college radio stations, the music is spreading out there, so.
Yeah, we also, like, for this record, I hired a radio plugging company from Netherlands, and so they plugged the album also to US stations again, so that we lost it, somehow on the way, because the major record companies were not able to put the records out here correctly, so it was like a little bit of a down. But now, we pick it up again, so I get like reports of radio stations in the States who play Sweet Spot, or either that song or songs from the record, and that's quite nice.
Hey, oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Hey, oh. If I could do what I want to, if I had you by my side, baby, you could feel all my loving. If
Peter, you have been instrumental with the vision of Count Basic, and you hail from Austria. And I just want to ask you, how did American music via R&B and jazz come into your psyche early on in your age?
Well, actually, since the times of record companies, and vinyls getting spread all over the world, it was not hard to get records in Austria as well. So it just depended on the taste of music you had, but basically you could get everything you wanted. So that. It's not a big difference if you're born like in Vienna or in the Midwest or wherever. We went to the stores and looked. Oh, this is a great Earth, Wind and Fire record. I want to have this. Or you just pick up a Stevie Wonder record. They pretty much are delivered all over the planet at the same time. So that was not hard. It's just a matter of where is your heart going. So I always had a big heart for pop songs when I was little. Like. That sounds awkward, but like a good hook line. A song needs a good hook. So, and then later on, I started guitar playing like with a Jimi Hendrix kind of vibe, And then later on, I studied guitar, jazz guitar, and then you're getting across like the George Bensons, And so all these influences, just together, this is like the ingredients that I liked, and that was like the start of Count Basic.
I said earlier in the interview, I remember listening to ML and the Sunshine and WJZZ in Detroit and also WVMV, both stations are no longer in existence in Detroit. They were very, very instrumental into playing your music, but there was also another very important part of Count Basic, and there was an acid jazz movement in Europe. And explain to viewers from I would say about 1986, 87, acid jazz really kind of took a hold overseas.
Yeah, I mean, like what happened was that some bands from England, they were like Galliano, Incognito, Ronnie Jordan, one guitar player who just died a couple of years ago. So they all. I did see these bands in Vienna performing. We had a very nice club in Vienna called Soul Seduction. And the guy, it was on Monday nights. It was jam-packed. So I always went there and did see these bands, and I said, "Oh wow, that's exactly the kind of mixture of grooves and that I'd like to do." So that was inspiring for me. So then we went to London to do the first record there. We produced the first record there. And, the guys I had on that record, they were already members of Incognito and stuff. I wrote the songs, we brought the arrangements, and they performed it very nicely. So we were part of that acid jazz movement, So, but as I said before, the ingredients of acid jazz are just soul, funk, jazz, it's just a different word for that kind of mixture. But, the Brits, they always, like Northern Soul, they put it together a little differently. And that's nice, it's nice. It's transforming a bit as we go along,
Because here in the United States, we had a format called the smooth jazz format. And I would say probably in the mid 80s up until probably the early 2000s, that dominated. And they played a lot of your music, and they also played other guys like Dave Koz, Sanborn, and other. Did that, or has that still affected you both here and abroad as far as how your music is being played and how you guys sell at concerts?
Not at all. Actually, that was an accident because I always wanted to have Count Basic as a vocal band. I always wanted to have like a vocal band. It actually, when we did the first record, I had only like 10 vocal songs, and that was not enough for a record. So when I found that out, I said, okay, I'll write some instrumentals. I can do that easily. We've done that before with other bands. So I wrote ML in the Sunshine in like 20 minutes. It was just like 20. I was just stuffing my laundry into the machine when the melody came to me, and I stopped that, and I just sat down. In 20 minutes it was finished. And the other stuff that Animal Print is on that record.
Right.
So I wrote that just like I can do that easily. By the end of the day, we were really surprised that exactly the instrumentals hit the States so hard, My record company here, the Instinct Records guys, they were also very surprised, because we moved to number one for 11 weeks with Emily in the Sunshine on the NAC radio. It was unbelievable. unbelievable. I could not believe it, you know.
I mean, Peter, that song's a classic now. I mean,
You know, it just
it's like what Kelly said earlier. It's like you could be like in the grocery store, you could be like sitting down having wine and dinner with your girlfriend, and like all of a sudden you hear this, and they've been playing this for almost 25 years.
I know, you know, but it was just a filler for our record. So by the end of the day, you never know what happens, you know. For me, it was a filling material because I did not had enough vocal songs, you know. Yeah, you found out that it's like a #1 hit someplace else, you know. So that was a big surprise for us. So I did not have a clue about NSC radio at the time, you know. So because that kind of format, you know, the smooth jazz format, you know, I don't even like that kind of stuff. The Kenny G, you know, that's like a little bit too
Soft.
cheesy for me, to be honest. I'm coming like from the Herbie Hancock Headhunters and all the vibe. I would never listen to Kenny G in my private time, to be honest. I'm sorry to say this, you know, but I'm coming from a different background, you know. I listen to Miles Davis, the Pangea records, all this strange kind of stuff, you know. Smooth jazz, not so much. I was just surprised that the format is there and that we fit to that format, you know. We didn't know about this in Europe, you know.
Was it surprising, just as surprising, when you were starting to play, like, because, you know, the smooth jazz stations had these smooth jazz festivals.
Yeah.
Were you just as shocked to be on the bill, say, with like a Dave Koz or someone like a Rick Braun? I mean, that had to be mind-boggling for you, playing this type of music to a different kind of crowd.
I think you know, by the end of the day, people feel the energy of the music, you know. So whatever kind of crowd is good, you know. So I would not mind to go on that festivals with my music, not at all, you know. I'm not preoccupied about this. It just caught us by surprise that we're hitting that kind of format, you know, where I wanted to have like a vocal band, you know. But never mind. It's like it is what it is, and we were quite happy about it, you know.
are the front man along with Kelly, and the voice is your guitar, but another voice of this band are the horn arrangements and the chord structures. And I wanted to know some of your influences as far as the horn parts, because I mean they're very colorful when you, and like I said, very lively.
Yeah, I mean, I think with these horn arrangements, it's always the same roots, if you want to say so. It's like Earth, Wind and Fire, which is just like Wicked, and Tower of Power, and all these bands, like the bands with the great horn arrangements, So we were influenced by that kind of music, to combine good groovy music with nice horn arrangements, working together with the vocals. So, but I'm not writing all of them by myself. Just have some because I think everybody should do what he can do best. I can write some songs, you come up with songs and melodies and so, but then not just let other guys do horn arrangements, and see what they're coming up with, and then choose stuff that they are bringing. So by the end of the day, it's me who says, yeah, this. But you just have to collaborate with the right people. So the horn arrangements are not all of them I wrote.
And another thing too is that you are under a major record label, which is Universal, but for a while you were independent for a little while.
Yeah, and that was much better. When we were independent, with Spray Records in Austria, we were able to collaborate with other independent labels, like, for instance, Instinct Records here or Mercury Records in Japan. By the time Spray Records got bought by BMG at that time, it all went down south quickly, because the major companies do not understand our music. They do not support our music because we are a little bit in between seats. It's not pop, it's not jazz, so it's hard to the drawer they have to open for us is difficult. So by the time we went major, and also that applies to Universal as well, it all went down south quickly. Universal Austria was not even able to release that record here in the States. It's just online release, but CDs you still cannot get, because so it's sometimes just better to have smaller independent labels that work together, and then to be in a major company, because major companies are good for major acts. Like, I don't know, name any, Rihanna, whatever. They're doing a good job for them, For us, not so much.
That'll do it again for this very special edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace. I'd like to personally congratulate the members of Count Basic 1 on their very first performance here in the United States at Joe's Pub, but also congratulate them on their current CD, which is now out, which is entitled Sweet Spot, which is on the Universal Records imprint. Thank you again, Kelly, as well as Peter, for your time and your hospitality. Also, I'd like to personally thank the staff and management at Joe's Pub also for their warm hospitality. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.
Would you like to come and try my style? A taste of something from the wild side. Life without a care, a sweet sensation in the air. You can come and feel your fantasy. Every little thing is yours, it's for free. Music's grooving, my body's hot and moving. Oh, oh. I wanna take you on a pleasure ride, where your mind is free to fly. Like a bird on the wing, you can do anything. Oh, we got jazz in the house, got jazz in the house. We are here in your house, so let's have fun tonight. Tell me, would you like to stay a while?